have the privilege of being up here today to talk to you guys and have one of our brokers, or a couple of our brokers come up. And for us here at Kind, it's extremely important to get feedback. We partner with our brokers all the time. Most recently, probably 3 months ago, we had a broker panel, and I'm really excited to have these 6 broker partners of ours that they're great. They're backstage right now. We're laughing, just sharing some stories just about in the industry. But this mindset piece is extremely important. I'm a firm believer that iron sharpens iron. You got to surround yourself with people that are like-minded to be better. Right, Dave? There you go. So one thing that's really important is to bring these guys up is to give some energy, right? So let's welcome these people up. Tom Ahles with Edge Home Finance. Come on, Tom. Ben Lemon with Direct Home Loans. Jessica Bennet with More Than a Mortgage. Eric and Danny with West Cap Lending. What's up, brother? Thank you guys for being here. And Thuan Nguyen with Loan Factory. There you go, there you go, there you go. All right. What's up, Thuan? How you doing, buddy? Guys, sit down. Have a seat. All right. We practiced a little bit behind a little bit, right? How many questions we go over? Quite a bit?
A couple.
Yeah, a couple, right? Right on. So first of all, thank you guys for being here. All right. I know you guys travel from far away. And speaking about travel, Jessica, I think you flew, it took you the longest to get here, right?
Yes.
How long?
Well, it's about a 5.5-hour flight, and then we had like a 4-hour drive to the airport. So we're in central Pennsylvania.
All right, so you're the winner, I think, right?
Yes,
I think you're the winner of traveling here. So let's start with you first. How's that, right?
Okay.
So we've been partnering with you for a long time, right? And you've been doing a lot of business. You do a lot of purchase business. You're in that business. Tell us a little bit of how you separate yourself from the competition, you and your company, because you guys do such a great job, right? So maybe we can start with you on that question.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having us. It's great coming here and leaving feeling really rejuvenated and inspired. So thank you for that. We really like to focus on our previous clients, something that the speakers had talked about earlier in the conference. We think it's very important to stay in touch with them, and we do quarterly campaigns where we're sending them out newsletters so that we are really focusing on staying in touch with those people because they're very important. You want to focus on those previous customers. We also really ramped up our social media marketing in the past year. We actually do a podcast every 2 weeks. Today is going to be our 20th episode, so Stacy and I will have to do that later on sometime here today. So we're doing that podcast, and we have a marketing calendar that we really stick to, and our focus is really doing videos. Some of them are funny, some of them are serious content, education about mortgages and buying homes. But that's something that we do. We feel like connections and relationships are so important. We are a very small company. We pride ourselves on service, but at the end of the day, it's about talking to people and being connected with people, because without relationships, we don't have a business.
Yeah, our business is so transactional, but it really is powered and driven by the relationship piece, right? That's what it's all about. And that's why we're up here talking about it, right? What about you, Ben? Your company now, congratulations, 2 years.
Thank you.
Right? Yeah, congratulations, Ben. So how do you guys separate yourself in your market?
Well, the big separation for me is that if you haven't heard of it, the core training. So I've been in the core training for over 10 years with Rick Ruby, and now I've been a coach for over 4 years in that program, and I made a big shift in my business when I went with the core training, and what that means is that it's a relationship business. Yeah. So my focus is on realtor relationships, my past clients, VIPs, some social media in there as well, but really it's about relationships as well as teaching that and bringing that into my company now and really helping my loan officers that work with me, and it's really about getting better and how do I get better. So. How
do you get better? Yeah. Do you find that a lot of your loan officers want that, like the coaching? Do they look for it, or some people are like, "Oh, I'm good," you know? Or...
that's a great question. Yeah. They want it, but this is what I've learned is that I love the stick, and a lot of my LOs like the carrot, and so I'm held accountable at a very high level. But we have some certain rules in our office. Awesome. So the LOs in my office, if they got to call 40 realtors on Monday. I know it's super simple and easy, but if they don't, they have to buy lunch for the office on Friday. So we try to have fun with it, right? Yeah. And then the other 2 rules are you come to my sales meeting on Friday, and then we have a company meeting once a month. So it's really about having fun and showing them what's possible and being a good example to the people in my office.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that's a big part of it. If you're forced into it, you kind of don't want to do it, but you have fun with it, it's a lot easier, right? And both of you mentioned relationships, and since we're here and all of you have so many different options when it comes to relationships, we're backstage talking about that. And I know, Danny, you and Eric have built your company as well based on relationships. You're very relationship driven but also with your lenders, right? You guys are very active with your lenders. So maybe you two can speak about how you've built it and how important those relationships are. What are you guys going to answer?
I mean, that's everything in this business. It's not just relationships, with your clients. It's with your partners. It's with your loan officers. Thuan knows this best, right? Having over 1,000 loan officers, and Tom as well. But no, I think it's incredibly important, right? You have to be in a good synergy with lenders, them understanding what your processes are, how they can assist you, what the expectations are of them, and vice versa. So I think it's super important, and I think kudos to what Kind is doing. You, Glenn, and Mindy and everyone doing multiple feedback sessions, helping us understand our business and how you guys can better deliver for us. So
no, we appreciate it. We're always about growth, so we never assume that we know. We always want to ask, right? We always want to make sure that we're providing the same feedback. What about you, Eric? Because we're involved in a lot of the relationship piece, right? But you're involved with the lenders as well.
Yeah, I mean, for us, our clients are really our loan officers for Danny and I. So it's about being in tune with the loan officers that are really working for us and understanding what they're going through and the challenges, and collecting feedback the same way that you guys are collecting feedback from us. We're constantly meeting with our sales leaders and sales agents to try to understand. My background is a consumer direct loan officer prior to managing a sales team and then becoming the owner of co-owner of West Capital Lending, and so. That was my reason for starting West Cap initially, was to really set up a platform that would allow me to originate at the highest level and not have distractions and things that slowed me down. So that really hasn't happened where we've been able to originate since starting the company. It started growing so fastly. We became really busy with just managing the business, but that's great. I love that challenge. And now we just focus exclusively on giving back and supporting our LOs.
Yeah, supporting the loan officer is really important because there's so many different tools out there, right? And I know, Tom, you guys are constantly trying to add value to your loan officers, right? Like you said, Eric, they're the people you work for, right? Helping them, your customer. How do you guys add value to your loan officers, Tom? Because you guys are growing very fast.
Yeah, I think it's different for every originator with what their needs are, especially. Our platform kind of caters to the individual in their market. Being in 47 different states, we have a lot of different markets where the needs are different. So it's really understanding for us, we've talked a lot about relationship here today. And for me as an owner, it's important to actually take the time to develop a relationship, right? It doesn't, especially for Thuan's had great success here, growing 1,000 people in a short period of time. Same for me. It's tough to be able to I don't want to say find the time, but dedicate the time to learning about them and what their goals are. And then really just being someone to be supportive of that and, check in. How are things going? We talked 3 months ago and this is what you wanted to accomplish. Where are you with that? And what can I do to help you? We really pitch, I would say, the entrepreneurship of the business to where we kind of want to give them the model itself in a box, but then help support them to grow that into wherever they want. We've had great success with that in really creating leaders below other leaders, right? To me, that has been kind of, if you look at what our strategy has been that's been successful, is really giving people the ability to kind of own their own company underneath a company where they can make the decisions on how they want to run their particular branch or their office to make sure that that level of success that they have, they're hitting, because the success is different in all of our eyes, especially for a lot of our originators.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Got some fans out there, Tom. There you go. So that's a really big value add. And I know, Thuan, you're heavy on technology, right? We talk a lot about that. And you've also added a lot of loan officers and continue to build. So maybe you can share how your company, you're right, Tom, everybody has a different way. And I think the the level of success, the meter is different for different people, what they feel success is. So Thuan, while you get a mic here, maybe you can share, because we've had a lot of conversations, and especially about like tech and all that. So maybe you can share a little bit about that, like how you
So
value.
we all talk about a lot about relationship, right, and support. But we think that it's even more than that. We have great relationship with clients, with realtor, but we know in our industry, closing one loan is not simple. You need a lot of support. But support is still not enough. You need to make the process a lot easier, smoother, no problem, close on time, close fast, better communication. There's so many things that involve to make you become a better loan officer and make sure everyone involved happy, especially client. So it's even more important to have a better system, the technology, to change everything, to really disrupt the mortgage and the mortgage market.
Right.
So technology is what we focus a lot on. We have a huge army of developer focus on building the software, and we use software to change everything. That's how we can able to roll so fast and make sure the loan officer, the client, the realtor, everyone can be happy.
Right. That's a big piece. I mean, the technology piece, I think pretty soon, it's going to be really easy to do a loan. All lenders, for example, on our side are going to be at the same playing field here pretty soon. And the differentiator is going to be are the people you like to work with, right? Our great AEs, where the AEs at right now? Shout out to our AEs, the alpha dogs out there, right? That's a big part of who we are. We really believe in having tech, but we're also very involved in the human touch. That AE, we believe for them to be out there. It's a big deal for us as well too. Kind of shifting gear a little bit. You touched on marketing, Jessica, earlier, and you touched about you're in a podcast now. Obviously, loan officers, if I'm a new loan officer getting into the market, because you guys are recruiting new people into the market, or maybe people going from one channel to another, right? So how do you see the benefits on having a strong marketing platform? Chris is going to talk about marketing later today. We're going to share about that. But maybe one of you guys, I don't know, Jessica, if you want to hit on that again, or Ben, about how do you plan your marketing? You touched on that, but more specifically, if I'm a new loan officer trying to get into the business.
Yeah, so we are very strategic about it. We meet for about an hour the month prior to go over a calendar for the previous month, for the next month. And we plan out videos and the podcast. And we are very small. We're probably one of the smallest brokers maybe here. But because we're small, we're able to meet most of our clients in person. I would say 95% of our applications are in person, and we attend about 99% of our closings. So it's important for people to see us and for us to be seen. That's the most important thing. Like, we want people to call us because they saw our podcast or saw us on Facebook, and then we track that. So we know how much traction we're getting. We know that, this person called because they saw us on Facebook or they saw us on Instagram. So it's just important to, if you are going to take advantage of the social media, you have to be strategic and intentional about it. You have to plan out what you're going to do. You can't just do a post on Wednesday and not post again until the next week. Right. It's got to be every day, and you've got to have really good content, and you have to be, people, you guys were saying about having fun. You got to have fun with it. Right. You got to be funny, because our funny posts usually get the most views. So I would say just really planning it out and sticking with it, and just you've got to post and you've got to do content every day.
Right. The funny thing is actually hilarious, right? When people do a good content, it makes you want to watch it a couple times. Even I like to send, there's a couple of officers we follow on Instagram, and they do some funny stuff that I have 4 kids, and I'll send it to them. They think it's funny. So if a 12-year-old thinks it's funny, it's pretty funny, right? So that's pretty cool to see. But, obviously the market's been changing a lot, right? So as business owners, how do you guys adapt to a market that's constantly changing? How do you plan for it? Right, and I guess maybe I'll start with you, Danny. You do such a good job of both marketing, but also building. You guys are recruiting a lot, adding a lot of great people. But how do you plan, if I'm a broker out there, how do you keep planning for the future in a market that's kind of variable right now?
Well, I think we're a little bit different than Edge and Loan Factory. I think both Eric and I, our background was in consumer direct, right?
Yeah.
And so, we are big aggregate lead buyers. We spend, in the millions of dollars on leads, and we analyze those leads, and we measure it, and we have, really an entire kind of ecosystem around the performance of these leads and educating our loan officers of, all the different strategies and approaches and what leads to buy and what to do. So it's a little bit different. The relationship piece is there. Obviously, you have to build a connection with the client and nurture that relationship and get referrals and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we're taking a much more aggressive marketing approach with what we're doing and how we're influencing our loan officers to be able to go and aggressively market.
Right. And you're also recruiting, like all of you, and maybe we could touch on that, you're getting a lot of interest from different channels, right, moving to yours. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because all of you guys have experience in that and talking to you. So maybe I'll start with you, and I'll ask maybe Tom about this after.
Yeah, we're in Orange County, California, and it's kind of a mecca for finance. And so, my background coming from Loan Depot, I had a couple hundred loan officers that would report to me, and so it's been this big movement, right? We've seen it just in general from retail into the broker side, and so we've capitalized on that, right? We've definitely pushed to continue to recruit, and we have probably a couple hundred loan officers from these various local consumer direct companies, and we've educated the loan officer really on how to do the same thing that they're doing for them, right? If they're providing leads, here's how to provide leads for yourself, right? So
self-generation. I know, Tom, you guys have done that as well too, right? You're constantly talking to loan officers, recruiting. So tell us a little bit about that, what you're seeing on that side.
Our strategy has been to go to retail to try to bring people from retail into our channel. We've had the honor of obviously having conversations before, and some of us were even in a little debate one time that was kind of funny on different models and this. But the reality is, even the speakers here today, the first gentleman who was the Paralympic athlete, it was like, what am I capable of? What's the best that I can do? To me, when I find people that are jumping from, let's just say, Loan Factory to me, it's normally a them issue, right? It's like we're kind of we all sell money for a living. And there can be a little bit of difference here and there, but I really want to make a difference in someone's life, right? And when I'm bringing somebody from a retail organization that is self-sufficient, self-managed, has their own referral business, then I just have to ask a simple question, why sell money more expensive and get paid less? And, the messaging has been fairly simple to that, which is why, my opinion, we've seen the broker channel blow up with great partners like Kind that have invested into technology, that have given us the ability to say, hey, yes, I understand these were the reasons why people said don't go broker, because 2008, 2009, if you told someone you were a mortgage broker, they looked at you like you just kicked their dog, right? Like, what? You were almost embarrassed to say it, right? Because like, oh, you're the reason I lost half my equity, and you're the one that did the upside down loan. It's like, no, that's not the case. But we've seen a massive shift in consumer sentiment, right? We see consumers now that know brokers are cheaper, faster, better for the consumer with proven data. And we've had some great organizations. Obviously, AIM plays a great part in spreading that message. Companies like you that are really investing into TPO, knowing, you guys get a choice. Glenn gets to look at this and you do and say, hey, do we spend our money on investing into our retail channel, or do we do it on our TPO channel? And we're seeing it because this wasn't cheap, right? To be able to get 1,000 people here that are all like-minded, how do we come together and keep pushing our channel forward? And to me, I'm grateful for like the West Cap guys. They're showing it can be done even in the broker space. So it's like, well, wait a minute. I think the growth potential being at 26.6, 27%, I think we're going to continue to see that rise. So to circle back on your question, my main recruiting tactic is attraction rather than promotion, right? When I look and as somebody's leaving a retail company, you have friends that are there. They know it. They see, like, wait a minute, you're a broker? I thought you said that you couldn't talk to your underwriter or you couldn't close a loan. And it's really just proof in the pudding. And after a while, when they start seeing that celebration, hey, just closed a loan in 10 days. Hey, I'm making X amount compared to where I was before. That really resonates more to me than us paying for marketing. So word of mouth is really big, which is our biggest strategy.
It is. You touched on a point. You had 26% share. I mean, I believe, and all of you believe too, that being a mortgage broker, it's the power of choice. You can work with anybody you want, right? Like any lender you want. You can partner with them. You can put somebody on timeout if you want to, right? Like that happens too. And that's a big piece, I think, for us too as a lender, is that power of choice, giving our brokers choice and being able to partner with who they want to, because we're here with them. And the business was founded in TPO. We've always been, even from the previous company, has been that. We're going to continue to grow that. But there's a lot of different mortgage brokers, like you mentioned earlier, Jessica, with different size mortgage shops here, right? Like big shops, medium shops. I think we all have the same passion. It's our borrowers, right? But not everything goes as smoothly as possible sometimes in our businesses, right? We want every loan to CTC in 4 days, right? Who wants that? I love seeing those posts. CTC in 4 days, that's awesome, let's do it. But not everything goes as smoothly as possible. So how do you set the proper expectations with your borrowers, right? And your loan officers too, but more importantly, the borrowers and one. So what are some pieces of the business that you focus on? I don't know if Ben or Thuan, you want to take one of those. You got that, Ben?
Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah.
So, because I originate, right?
There you go, yeah.
So 31 deals this month. I'm
there you go.
I'm right in the middle of it.
There you go.
And so what I'm focused on is having a perfect process. And so what I mean by that is, how am I contacting the client? I love that Jessica mentioned that she meets every client 95% of the time. That's a huge thing for me, because I want to build a relationship, and so that we can get future business as well as referrals from those clients as well. So it's really about, for me, meeting that client, explaining the options to those clients, building that relationship, as well as making that process better and better. So how can I make that better? How can I build that loyalty, like Tim talked about, and so that they can trust me and that they will come back to me?
It's awesome. So, Thuan, I want to talk about the process too, because thank you, Ben.
Yeah, like Tim, I closed 75 loans last month.
There you go.
And I spent only 5% of my time originating.
Right.
So it's not easy to be a top producer.
Yeah.
And I closed, at my peak, more than 500 loans per transaction. So the process has to be perfect.
Yep.
So that the client will love you and happy with you. And you can scale. So it's a good loan officer. You can be a good loan officer and close 5-10 loans a month. But if you close 100 loans a month, can you continue to deliver the best experience to your client?
Right.
And can you build a process and delegate it to your staff, to your loan officer? That is even more difficult. And I'm able to do all of that.
Right.
So we should make it transparent, focus on communication, set the right expectation. We challenge ourselves. We let the client know that when they come to Loan Factory, they can expect the best of everything. Pricing, services, communication. And even though I'm very proud that I'm the #1 loan officer in the country, but I'm even more proud that all of my clients will give me 5-star review.
It's awesome.
So
that's a big deal. So Thuan, how many emails you get a day?
A lot.
Yeah. I'm thinking, man, what, like 1,000? A lot, right?
A lot.
All right. You should try the Quickie portal to help you faster. All right?
Yes.
There you go. So obviously everybody here, you guys are alphas, right, guys? Alpha dogs. Where are the alpha dogs at? We're going to talk about that. But what does it take? What's the biggest characteristic of being a top producer? What do you guys think it is? There's a characteristic that somebody has. Like, is it drive? What do you guys think? Eric, what do you think, man? Like, what have you seen? Because you guys are very successful. There's a mic right there. You guys are, but to be like what does it take, the discipline, what does it take to get to that next level, you think?
Yeah, I think discipline is a big part of it. Confidence in yourself, being confident in what you're selling, right? And who's backing you up as far as lender partners, the company.
Right.
Just having that belief in yourself, I think, comes out in your voice, and then that conviction will convince. You don't want to. I don't want to tell somebody by just going straight at them and telling them, do this, do this, do this. I want it to come out of my voice, the conviction that I believe in it, and then that rubs off on them, right?
Yeah,
so
that's a good one. That's a very good,
For me, I would not lose my client to anyone. The client come to me, they have to do loan with me.
It's your client. Yeah.
And they have to be happy.
Yeah.
So if you can make sure that happen, you become the top producer.
Yeah. Happiness is key. It's a currency a lot of people don't talk about, but it is a big currency. What about you, Tom?
I get the honor weekly. We run a series. It was from the movie Office Space. It's kind of fun. Like the Bill Lumbergh, like what exactly do you do here? Is our series. It's really fun. But what I've learned,
it's actually pretty funny.
It is. It's like our team enjoys it because what we do is we look at team members that are those high producers and what are you doing? Because in a world, with our model where it's really independent, we're not having lead aggregation to where like you can really dial in on their performance. It's, you're going to eat what you kill, and it's up to you to go out and hunt.
Right.
However, all of our top producers have the same characteristics, and it's really, you mentioned it with discipline, but it's consistency. They're consistently setting their own goals. On a daily basis, monthly basis, and quarterly basis. Like, if you're a self-driven originator, you've heard the coach that was up here. I mean, he had a great outline.
Yeah.
Are those types of things in your playbook? And to me, there's not a single top producer that is not already doing those things, but looking at it then and testing it themselves. Like, how is my process? The constant drive to get better and to stay in front of what's happening. Because if we look ahead, and you ask, like, with problems, just to get to that last question you had before this, if we look ahead of, do some deals have problems? Well, 100%. If they didn't, we might not have a job, right? And if you look ahead 10, 15 years with technology, the 3 to 4 day clear to closes are great. However, that means our job can be automated pretty easily, okay? So if you look at how many of those loans that's going to happen to, if you're wanting to stay in this industry 10, 20, 50, 30 more years, you better get good at the ones that aren't easy. Because, in my opinion, the broker channel will probably, at some point, shift more to that. Where, having partners like Kind that are doing manual underwrites, that are really looking at deals and making things where there's underwriter discretion and there's a partnership because there's communication and it's not an algorithm reading it.
Right.
How many transactions are done in our country a year? I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot, right?
A lot.
If the majority of those fit into day one certainty, or something that's going to make it just a simple one-touch clear to close, that business, in my opinion, at some point is going to go away for us. So, how do we focus on making sure for the future, what are we doing to be the best that we can from all aspects to make sure that we are still leading in the broker channel from the front?
Yeah, no, you made some really valid points because you're right. Like, especially obviously over the last couple of years, the non-QM space has blown up, right? And so we've launched our non-QM product. We're really happy with it. We're really changing the market with that too. We didn't touch about this earlier, but you made a point earlier. Non-QM gives a lot of other advantages to a borrower, a lot of options, right? Are you guys participating in that space right now? I guess Jessica, can you talk, or maybe Eric, either one of you guys?
We do very little non-QM.
Okay.
We just are kind of getting our feet wet with it. Actually, my husband is a commercial lender, so we do a lot of transactions with him when it comes to like self-employed borrowers. But I definitely think there's a lot of opportunity in our market, particularly. There's not maybe as much opportunity as bigger markets, but it's definitely nice to know that we have those products and those avenues. If somebody doesn't fit in that little perfect box, we have other options for them where maybe a bank or a credit union doesn't have that. So it gives us an advantage for sure.
It is. What about you, Ben? We have a couple more minutes.
Yeah, absolutely doing non-QM. It's a big part of my business, probably 10, 20% of it.
Okay.
It's great having those avenues available with Kind, obviously.
Right.
Seeing a lot of it and having more tools in your toolbox, right? I mean, to be able to go out and confidently tell an agent or a relationship or a financial advisor or someone that uses assets as their income, right? So there's just so many options out there to help those clients.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, well, go ahead. Do you have something, Tom?
Yeah,
The biggest thing I've seen with non-QM that's helped us on a recruiting side, most of the retail lenders are brokering non-QM loans. So to me, when I see especially some of the larger or second largest wholesale lender does this a lot, right? They're in a lot of retail shops and brokering it. Well, what happens is a lot of times loan officers see the transparency. Well, wait a minute. Why am I only getting 100 basis points when it's 275? And then it makes people start thinking. So to me, I've been grateful for non-QM because as even a lot of the retail shops, you need it, right? A lot of self-employed people that have the advantages, but it's really helped to open up the conversation on the recruiting side too, because now they've got used to brokering. And it's well, wait a minute, why, if brokers are bad, why are you doing that? Right. I guess that doesn't fit.
Valid point. I mean, we're excited. It's always good to give our borrowers options. Right, that's the best part of being a broker. So we have a couple more seconds here, and as my team knows, I'm an early guy. I wake up super early in the morning. I usually bug Glenn by 5:30 in the morning about something. But do you guys have a morning routine? Do you follow? Are you guys disciplined in the morning? Does anybody? Jessica, you're nodding your head. Yes, we have a couple more seconds here, so maybe you can share that with the group. Because I'm a firm believer that somebody that's aggressive, that's excessive, that's an alpha dog, right? They do have, there we go, they do have a morning routine. So Jessica, maybe we start and we end with you.
I am a very self-motivated person, so I have a routine every day. I mean, I do start with coffee. I have to be honest with that. That's the first thing I do.
Of course.
But I make a habit of making sure that when I get up, I'm checking emails and I'm looking at every single loan, even if it's not closing until December. I want to get in there. I want to look at the file. I want to see if anything was added. I also want to just do a pulse check with my staff and the clients. You know, you have a loan that's maybe not closing for 2 months out because of whatever circumstance. You've got to stay in contact with that person because time kills deals. And you want to make sure that they're hearing from you even though they're not closing till weeks out. I also we like to have dinner together every day. I like to go to the gym every day. That's something that makes me feel good. And it's just time for myself. And I pretty much stick to that every day. It's just the same routine. I'm a creature of habit and it works for me and it works for our company as well.
Yeah, there's something to say about having a routine every morning. It really does. So listen, thank you guys for being up here, right? It's not easy being up here. We're up here for a little over 30 minutes. So thank you for your time. Safe travels back home. And it was really good to see you guys. Thank you for your feedback. Round of applause for them, everyone. Thank you.